Teamwork. It's what defines football as a sport. It is displayed most prominently in the play of the offensive line.
All line on three, 1, 2, 3, all line!
For it is there that individual achievement only matters if the entire unit is performing. Where 5 must work as one. In the trenches, men are measured by their strength, their toughness, their sheer will to win. And now, for that sacrifice and commitment, those men will be recognized as college football's most outstanding offensive line. This is the Joe Moore Award.
If you took the city of Pittsburgh and kind of wrapped it up and created a person, it would be Joe Moore. Chain smoking his cigarettes, that raspy voice, "Hey Taylor, what are you doing?" Joe Moore was the personification of what you would expect tough love to look like.
You're watching film and, just like a brown spot on the ceiling with all the cigarettes that he would smoke. And it just made his voice even that more intimidating.
Joe was a hard-nosed guy. He loved the 4-letter word, very old school, great motivator.
There's one thing that I know that I can improve. I don't give a damn what type of kid I have. I can teach him to at least get on somebody and stay on them.
One time we're sitting in a meeting room, we always lined up the starting 5 up front. He went right down the line and he said, "Jimbo," he says, "you and Fada get up to the linebacker," and he'd skip over me and he'd say, "Emo," he says, "you and Mark, got to work up to the Mike linebacker." And then he'd take a drag off the cigarette and say, "And if the center," in which I was the center, but that week I was just called the center. No, not Russ Grimm. It was, "And if our center can get a stalemate," he goes, "we may have a chance." And then he'd go on the next play. For the whole week I was the center. I didn't even know the guy I was playing against other than his name, but I didn't like him when the game started.
His favorite saying was, "They love me some of the time, they hate me some of the time, but they'll kill for me all the time." And that's still true to this day.
Right now our goal is once again to have the best line in the country. Whether we reach or not, I don't know. But I let them with that. We're going to the spring with that goal, and never ever let a kid think that he can't accomplish something.
After my first practice, very first practice at offensive line, he said, "You're going to be an All-American someday." He had some confidence in me, and I just had to have some confidence in myself, and he really helped me get there.
The thing he told me is that a man's not anything unless he knows who he is. Know who you are, Taylor, and just go out and be him. He's enough. And that theme, that belief about knowing what it is you're capable of, was really what I think he was masterful at.
If they gave me 2 hours a day, I'd take 2 hours a day to work on fundamentals. I never get bored in fundamentals. There's repetition, repetition, repetition.
Non-stop, no matter what. Live one-on-ones, live one-on-ones. If I said to you we did 60 to 75 minutes of them every single day for 5 years, that's what we did. When he coached high school, he literally had no plays. He had one formation, and he called it kick your ass left, kick your ass right, kick your ass the middle, and I'll pass you and kick your ass. That was it. And all he did all day was practice fundamentals, and he was very successful.
No matter what he does, if his feet aren't under him, he will not be successful. If he is successful, it's because the kid he played against stinks. Eventually he's going to play against somebody pretty good. You cannot play football unless your feet are under you.
He loved high school coaching and he loved college coaching because they were still kids. I think that's why he never even, Chuck Noll offered him a job twice and he turned it down, because I think he enjoyed taking a kid and making him into a man.
Not easy to always be around him, but his loyalty and his love you never doubted it. It was just the way he did things.
I don't think he ever saw himself as being intimidated. He just saw himself as a husband, a father, and a coach.
Nothing he did was about himself or ego. It was for our benefit. I think somehow we all knew that, which is why we played so hard for him.
Yes, our head coach was Lou Holtz, but we played for Joe Moore. And that probably says it best.
30 years since I've played for Joe, and it's still touches me today what he did for me.
It's 5 feet across. The bottom of the trophy to the top is about 4 feet. So this is a huge trophy. And Aaron Taylor said, hey, this is for 5 offensive linemen, big, husky guys. They need a trophy that's big. And that was his idea. First of all, you've got to get good photographs of the subject matter. And you start out by building a wire armature on a board with pipe to hold it up. And you wrap that in clay, and then you build the clay sculpture. That's where the essence of the work is going to be, and everything after that tries to imitate what you did originally. When you get the clay sculpture finished, you take it to the foundry where we build a mold to capture the likeness. And we break the mold away and pour wax into that mold, and then we get a wax positive from that mold that's identical to the original clay. That wax positive then is placed in another mold made out of a slurry which is heat resistant, and that is burned out in a furnace, and then molten bronze is poured into the void, and there you have a bronze sculpture. Here I have a chance to portray this line coming up in unison to the line of scrimmage. Each man trying to remember the count, they're trying to assimilate the play, and they're blocking assignment on that, and as they come up, they're looking at the array of defense and that they're throwing against him and figuring out who they're going to block. And I'm capturing that all in a split second of frozen bronze. I want this trophy to portray the best line in college football just by looking at them. And I want them to, year after year, these players who win it identify with those people that are in bronze on this trophy. And I think each of them will.
Well, we're here in Tuscaloosa, and this is the first time I'm seeing the trophy, and this is going to be the first time that the players see the trophy. And man, it is stunning. And I can't wait to see their reaction.
I want to introduce Aaron Taylor to you, and he's here to make a presentation, to our offensive line.
As Coach mentioned, I played for a guy by the name of Joe Moore. Joe Moore was an O-line legend. A lot of people think he was the best guy that ever coached the O-line position in college. When I was at Notre Dame, he had a famous saying. He said, there's no greater joy in life than moving a man from point A to point B against his will. And there was a group amongst us that did that better than any other unit in the country. Where's my O-line at? Starting O-line, come on down here. Why don't you guys help me in celebrating and congratulating the first ever winner of the inaugural Joe Moore Award for the most outstanding offensive line unit in the country. You gotta be a little different to play O-line.
No doubt. This is not for everybody. You can't have an ego. You can't be about you. You gotta just put your selfishness to the side and be about the team.
What makes winning the Joe Moore Award so special?
Thinking back to what it took to get to this part, you think about the summer workouts, just us grinding in the mornings, all the lifts, and then all the practices during camp during those 120-degree days. And just, what it takes that we got here, like I said, is gratifying.
I know all 4 guys sitting with me, are super excited about this award, and it's also a responsibility to uphold, what the values of this award mean too as well. So we're going to try to go in there, day in and day out, and play as the best offensive line in this country.